Competitive Halo has a legacy, a golden era, so impactful that it shaped our gaming industry and esports as we know it. Today, over a decade later, Halo is back again, and with it, a whole new era in competition. If you're new to Halo Esports, you might be wondering what's so special about it. What makes Halo unique? What makes it stand out as a competitive shooter today? You know what? That's a damn good question. Let's break it down. In competitive Halo, 2 teams of 4 face off in arena combat. Balance and skill is everything in competition, and Halo achieves this with what we call even starts. Every player enters the fight with the same equipment, a battle rifle in hand and 2 grenades. The foundation of Halo's multiplayer experience is the combat. In Halo, we call this the dance. It's a short but calculated exchange where players use skillful movement and gunplay to break through their opponent's shields and land a finishing blow. Your shields are your lifeline in Halo. They deplete when taking damage and recharge when evading gunfire. Breaking your opponent's shields takes several well-placed shots. As long as you hit the target, it doesn't matter where those bullets land. The moment you break the shields is the ultimate test of precision. Land a headshot for an instant kill. With a battle rifle, 3 bursts to the body and 1 to the head results in a perfect 4-shot kill. And trust me, pull this off, and it's pretty damn satisfying.
And with shields and in position to get into the base and then pick that flag and throw it out the front. Oh, lovely shots from APG.
Defeating your opponent puts them on a 10-second respawn. This advantage is important, especially if you take down the whole team at once. With your opponents off the map, your team has time to control important positions and power weapons. And this is the true key to winning in Halo. Power weapons spawn in contested locations throughout the map, and teams need to work together to earn and control them. Your classic fan favorites, like the rockets and the sniper, are back in action, alongside new weapons as well. My personal favorites are the Mangler and the shock rifle. In the right hands, these weapons, they're kind of deadly.
Look at this, Cloud9 looking to mount up a comeback here in round 2, and it would be a statement from them if they were able to close it out.
Oh my word, Lucid! Not only the first one, but the second as well onto Stellar. Penguin do not peek! No. Lucid!
And that's not all. New to Halo Esports is equipment. Limited use items that spawn in specific locations on the map, and this has a drastic effect on the game. The grapple can be used to make quick map rotations, escapes, or to take you right into the fight. You can also use it to pull things towards you. Just don't forget to say, "Get over here," when you do it. Or the repulsor, the ultimate defensive tool. Time it right and return projectiles back to sender. You can jump with it too for a devastating angle of attack, and let's just say that's not all it's good for.
And now Ola, maybe thinking about a play ball, maybe thinking about sending someone for a swim. It's a play ball.
All of these elements, the even starts, shield system, combat, the sandbox, they all come together to create this balanced competitive experience that requires teamwork, strategy, practice, creativity. The result is the ultimate form of skill expression, and it's just exciting to witness. And that, to be honest, is just a fraction of what makes Halo so great. So, welcome back to Halo, and good luck in the arena.
Hello and welcome back to HCS Anaheim. It's our final game of the day. I'm casting, not with Gaskin, not with Jen. It's with big man Dave Walsh. Dave, it's good to see you.
Pleasure to be here with you. Pleasure.
We've got XSET up against G2 as our game here, Dave, and I'll tell you something, I'm excited to sink our teeth into it. It's win or go home.
That's the beauty and I guess the rough part about the elimination bracket. You know, there's so much pressure on the line during these matches. And one of these teams, you know, they put so many months of work into this. They put their blood, sweat, and tears practicing this match. So, I mean, it all comes down to these moments for these squads. And so, like I said, it's so emotional, but also so heartbreaking to see some of the squads, their runs coming to an end here in the elimination bracket.
Runs coming to an end. There is the elimination bracket then. G2 versus XSET about to get underway. E-United and FaZe went all the way to a Game 5. Slayer, they clutched up. They send FaZe home in that top 8 position. Who would have thought that coming into the start of the day? But
no one saw that coming in. Not from the 2nd seed.
No, I think even the fans at home, there's a lot more fans on FaZe than you see for the boys on the opposite side of things. But our attention turns over towards XSET and G2. Scrim results haven't been in favor of the boys on G2. Recently, 8-4 in favor of XSET. So they've got a mountain to climb here, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, those generally scrim results are pretty telling, based on the results in the events. However, we are talking about LAN here. We are seeing how well Gilkey and Straight Stick have been playing on LAN, and I would argue that Sabinator is probably the top player here from the G2 squad. So we will see if these online results here from this last scrim, which were 8-4 in the favor of XSET, are going to hold true, or if we're going to see a different LAN squad here from the G2 squad.
Well, I'll tell you something. It's hard to bet against the best player in the game, in his own words. Kratos, Suspector, Suppressed, and Arctic. What do you think about those comments, Walsh? I
mean, which comments? From Kratos?
I mean, you got to have confidence.
Honestly, I do agree you have to have confidence. At some point, if you're not believing in yourself and such, I think you walk a fine line, though. You walk a fine line because, at some point when you're trying to make, maybe enemies with everyone, or, you breach a level of, delusion where it's, it's really tough to say. But, end of the day, you got to have confidence, and that's something that Kratos clearly has.
There's something that he said that was very interesting. One of the interviews he did was he's not here to make friends. He's here to win tournaments. And he almost has that back to the wall mentality. It's us against the rest. And you think that's going to put him in good stead?
I mean, it is a powerful mindset to have. I mean, it's shown through history in different ways, whether it comes to like different sects of like political parties, or you could even argue like culture side, where it's like this mindset of like us versus everybody style thing. And so that can be very empowering. But I'm not sure if it's the right recipe for success out here. I mean, at some points you can have teams, like a couple teams that might be your enemies or your rivals, but I don't know if you want to be enemies with everyone.
You gotta have friends somewhere, at least hopefully in high places. But let's take a look at the series layout then. Strongholds live fire game 1, Slayer Streets, CTF Bazaar, Oddball Streets, Slayer Recharge are our game types. And I tell you something, looking at some of those game types, Walsh, what do you have to tell me?
Ooh, when I look at these, I see a lot of fast maps. Especially in the form of like Streets and live fire. However, you do have a couple that are slower in Bazaar and Recharge. So what I tend to do when I see gameplay like that is I'd like to see how these first ones play out, where it's like, all right, like when it comes to a faster map or faster game mode, who's coming out ahead in those scenarios? When it goes to a slower one, like if we see Streets Slayer turn out into a slower Team Slayer or to a faster Team Slayer, who's coming out during those different moments. So I like to kind of dictate it on the pace of the game and who's coming out during those moments.
I like to look at my stats sometimes. Every now and again I do a little bit of research, and Recharge, Oddball, and indeed Bazaar Slayer did go towards XSET, so let's do some predictions. Okay. I'm going to drop that on you right before we do it. Okay. I've got my predictions ready to go.
All right. We're just gonna throw the team up there.
3, 2, 1, throw it. Oh, okay. Okay.
We're a little split here.
We're going against the grain, huh? That's what we're doing here. You're going to come onto my show on Xbox, which I've been holding down, and then try and make me look like a fool.
I mean, it's hard to bet against you. I mean, like you made it out of Squid Games here recently, so it's like if you somehow made it out of Squid Games, who am I to bet against you?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Recharge Oddball is going to be game number 1. Dave, what are some of the keys to success these teams need to be looking out for?
Let's see. Live fire, Oddball. The key to success there, I would say, is figuring out the setups where you can get the play balls. We do see times where you're forced to bring it over towards the garage, just based on whether the team's spawning and what control you have. However, more ideally, you want to be over towards BRC so that when the slays don't go your way, which naturally happens against these top teams, you can play the ball.
A player Dave mentioned just before we start chit-chatting was Sabinator, how good he is and how instrumental he can be for his team. There's his kills, deaths, and assists spread. Walsh, super impressive.
Yes, that's super impressive here at this live event, especially considering the squads that G2 has played against. They had a tough pool. They have just been playing so strong thus far, and every time I've seen Sabinator's screen, I've just seen so much work done, where it's like, seems like he's playing off his team very well, seems like he's flanking, seems like when he gets caught off guard, he still somehow wins those engagements.
Well, in the interview, Kratos was given high praise to Sabinator, saying that he could play on any one of these top 4 rosters, and not putting him in the shop window, but definitely saying that, I've got a good player on my hands here.
Yeah, I mean, Suspector, I think he was totally praising Kratos, or Kratos was praising Suspector, right?
Yeah.
And in a situation like that, and Sabinator. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. So that's interesting that Kratos is giving some love to some players and other squads.
Sorry,
as well.
No, you're dead right.
Okay, gotcha.
No,
sorry for mixing up.
Yeah, scrap the whole thing.
No worries, but yes, Suspector clearly seems to be this watch-out player here from XSET. anytime we've gone to a screen, he's been doing such a great job, and you know, getting even praise from Kratos is so powerful. I mean, they've been kind of this you know, arguable duo for a long time now. They saw their success in Halo 5, taking second place in the first Halo World Championship, and you see them return once again here under the XSET banner and doing work, knocking out some top teams here today. And they want to continue that run. They want to get it into the top 6 and take out a Titan known as G2.
They need to do it here and now. XSET up against G2 Esports. Recharge Oddball's going to be our game number 1. Scrim results favoring XSET ever so slightly here in this best of 5, but G2 are no strangers to an upset. XSET been through the wars. G2 have been in the trenches. Who's going to come out on top here? It's win or go home. It's an early ticket to Disneyland or Universal. And here we go, we're underway.
I mean, that doesn't sound so bad now that you put it that way. It's like, all right, I guess we can go to Universal tomorrow. Maybe it's not going to be as happy sitting in the lines, but we're going to have to see it. And what a triple kill off the bat here from Arctic. That is all 4 members down from G2. We're going to see the Strongholds going in the favor of XSET, and they're putting the pressure on immediately.
Triple cap put into full effect. I mean, you start a game with a triple kill like Arctic just did and looking to go to war, but Tusk shuts him down before he can get out ahead of steam. Any more kills put in the grave. Suspector last man alive with that sniper rifle. And it looks as though C's going to get transferred, but Suspector rips the skull right off of Tusk.
And that is just such a powerful start. And here we see G2 dividing their attention into 2 separate strongholds. They're trying to get A and C at the same time, and I don't blame them. It feels like when you have your resources divided, you divide the attention also of XSET. And so they're starting a couple fires in a couple locations and seeing what XSET can react to.
Divide and conquer is exactly what we're seeing on our screens. A and B in control of XSET here. G2 Esports on the back foot already.
I also like how I think we both kind of had the game type wrong off the bat. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's oddball on live fire, and yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I love
we're into it now, so we'll move along.
Moving on nicely. One team moving on. XSET right now, 61 points already on the board. Straight sick though. He's got the sniper rifle as he cracks the shields of Kratos. Backs him down over towards back green.
But that has to be the opening that G2 take advantage of. I mean, you get somebody to one shot over on the side, you need to see the members of G2 flying across. But when that player can just sit back behind B, get their shields back and nothing happens, that doesn't really amount to much. But Gilkey taking it in his own hands by getting a double kill and gonna take B as well.
Gilkey saying, I've seen enough here. No more popping shields and backing down. I'm going straight into B, taking it over. It's mine now. Triple cap for G2 Esports.
You have to wonder, though, if Gilkey being all the way over on the B side is going to limit his team getting from overshield. But I believe I kind of see in the distant Tusk acquiring that overshield. So looks like Kratos and squad going to reacquire B. And we're just going to have an exchanging of hands a couple times here from B Stronghold, just kind of being with whomever wants it.
Both these teams trading blow for blow. Jabbing one another, unable to land a haymaker just yet. We've seen triple caps traded back and forth. Melees, speaking of melees back and forth, shadow box, and that's exactly what we've just seen there. Back B. A now being transferred over to Arctic. B being traded back and forth. Rotations coming through here. You take one, we'll take the other here, Dave.
And I believe that's the correct response. If you don't have the firepower to match and defend your stronghold, just make the other team be reactive. Go steal their stronghold. They only have so many resources they can spend across the map, and they can't capture and defend at the same time.
A mistake teams make more often than not, trying to defend what you have instead of going and getting what you don't. And we're seeing these boys knowing exactly what they need to do. Ditch one, get the other. Tusk though, back tower. Straight sick gets eliminated by Suspector. Player down to no shields, he gets handled. Gilkey sends him off the map with a force push too. Picks up a double kill but pays the price with his life.
Well worth it though. I mean, we're now seeing G2 get a little bit more comfortable. I think one thing we did see with XSET is just not how hot and cold they were, but how hot they were when they did have trip caps rolling. They looked so strong in their previous series that we saw them in. And so in a situation like this, where you're able to kind of at least put a damper on it, you know, we now see G2 in the lead, but more importantly, just kind of slowing the pace of the game. You want to try to see a team that's, you know, kind of runs on those streaks. Try to make them, you know, you run on fumes. Make them run out of that energy. Make it a slower paced game and a more methodical game.
Don't fuel the opposing team's fire. Dampen the mood. Don't give them that confidence. Gilkey trying to do just that there, eliminating Kratos. 2 members of XSET in the grave now. Arctic and Kratos indeed. Full members up for G2. Triple cap momentarily. C's going to be getting a point of contention here. B's also getting attacked for, so it's going to be a B spawn for the boys on XSET. Can they battle and rally out here?
Yeah, and ever since we've been seeing the Slays go in the favor of G2, just the time has been ticking up massively. Even though XSET are spawning at B, they don't really have much of a chance of capturing this. Look at this pressure coming in from Sabinator and Gilk.
Last time these two teams played one another in scrims, XSET came out on top 250 to 185. As Tusk, you don't have any armbands, fella. You can't swim down there.
I haven't seen so many cannonballs in the water on this map. We've seen 2 or 3 already, and the map is only halfway through. So we're going to have to see if people start to pay a little bit more attention when they're on the edges of the map. That repulsor has been awfully dangerous.
Gonna have to get some wet floor signs out there or something. It's hazardous out there back green. Heat wave though, not gonna fire that shot, not gonna connect with the melee. He's whiffed on 2 occasions there, but Suspector picks up 4 shots. He's not whiffing nothing.
No, and look at this, Suppress just deciding to capture this. And
and
even
again,
once again,
everybody goes to the drink.
Sabinator said, all right, put an end to this madness. Truce, I will kill you instead of throwing you in the water. Let's be gentlemen here when we're fighting on live fire.
Gloves go down, challenge to duels. Splish splash, players are taking baths left, right, and center. No bars of soap down there, that's for damn sure. But 193 points here to 83. 2 caps in control of G2 Esports. XSET have to turn it up here now.
Yes, they do, and they're doing it right. They're trying to stop this bleeding, but that trade, as we talked about before, they're getting C, but at the same time, you see G2 capturing A. So anytime you're just going 1 for 1, it's not as big of a deal. And I like this play from Straight Sick. I also don't like it, seeing how many people have been repulsed across the map.
Seen far too many players hit the drink, and Straight Sick want to be careful out there. Get his flippers on. Kratos trying desperately to stay alive, unable to do so. Gilkey puts him away. Repulsor not going to be able to do the job to get himself back up the top middle for Sabinator there, but he's going to go in, get a player that's already no shields, puts him away, suppressed in the respawn screen. 222 here. XSET dangerously close to going down in game 1.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really tough one for them to crawl back. I mean, we have seen comebacks on this game type, especially before. But you really need to have some factors going in your favor. You need to have like the overshield, you need to have the sniper, and we do see sniper in their hands, but we saw everything else going in the hands of G2, and that's gonna be 2 down for each team, and when your team has control of strongholds, you're happy to trade kills like that.
Trade left, right, and center. Trade yourself to victory. B and C in control now of XSET. They're starting to score once again. They need to do just that, and I'll tell you something, they can ill afford any more mistakes here, Walsh.
They really do need a trip cap. I mean, yes, in theory, they can sit here and hold the 2 strongholds for a bit, but you really need a trip cap. That way you don't have to play perfect Halo for like 5 minutes straight. Instead, you want to make your team have to play perfect Halo for a few minutes straight.
Walsh calls for the triple cap. Unfortunately for them, as he was doing that, they've lost the stronghold completely. A and B in the control. Game 1 in control of G2 Esports. They go 1-0 up in the series. XSET just didn't seem to wake up there, Walsh.
No, I mean, they seem to be coming through strong though at the beginning. Like I thought, like we are going to see this strong XSET roster just pull away with the series right away, but it got shut down as soon as G2 started to get their groove, started to play a little bit stronger. It felt like they, they really just shut down XSET completely. I don't know how many more points we saw from them after the first couple minutes.
Taking a look at the stats though, talk to me. What jumps off the page here, Walsh?
I would say when I look at Sabinator, I was trying to look for his stats. I was like, all right, where's the most kills? And Gilkey and Sabinator both had the most kills. So I would just say anytime Sabinator is really sticking out for me, because I guess when you look at like a 9.0 KDA for his roster, I mean, especially when you get off to a rough start, it's like, all right, you really picked up for your team.
Sabinator highlighted pre-series. They talked about how they were level on Slays, but Gilkey has 500 more damage despite the fact they're level on those Slays.
Yep, that is a great point. And then when I also look over on the other side, it looks like Kratos had the most damage for his roster, whereas it looks like Tusk and I think it was Gilkey both had the most damage from G2, right around 4,000 each.
Okay, damage control. All right, you're going into this game, you're down 1-0 in the series already. We know Kratos has that passion, he has that fire. What does he say to the boys to rally them back here in the Slayer?
I mean, you can kind of go 2 routes. You either try to get people fired up and say, all right, this is where we step it up, or you just try to say, forget the past. Like, that last game is gone. Who cares about Strongholds on live fire when we have Street Slayer up next, and this is our game mode. And, a Slayer like this can really bring a team back. So I would, I tend to go for looking forward, just trying to say, what are our next objective steps? If I've been in a situation where I'm down 1-0, I say, all right, we're going up Street Slayer next. What's our starting strat? We're going to make sure we reaffirm that we know we have backup. We want to make micro adjustments. You don't want to change too much, because as soon as you start to tune too many things in a game, it doesn't really bode well to have everything balanced out. You want to say, all right, maybe we're challenging a little too much. Let's reel it back a little bit overall, but don't change everything up.
Something we've seen G2 Esports control in that last game. The sandbox, the manglers, the heat waves, the power-ups,
the repulsors.
The repulsors. Everybody was ending up with a drink at one stage. Everybody going for a swim and a splash. But rocket launch is going to be huge in this game here, Walsh.
They are huge. I don't think we've been seeing it as pivotal as we'd like. There's so many times where people get the rockets and end up getting these trades. I think effective rocket use is going to be the real difference maker here. A player that can get the rockets, stay alive with them, get a kill or two without dying is going to be a real game changer. And look at this Sabinator just snagging those right away. We see these sort of different starts as the game kind of goes on, where some players, go for the weapon right away and get away with it, and then people are like, oh, all right, we punished that immediately, and now we're gonna sit back a little bit, and then it goes back to that rock paper scissors mentality, like, well, going right back for the weapon again.
Picked up those rocket launches, almost brought them home. He was happy with what he had. He wanted to go home and show them to his mom. Didn't get the first kill though, but managed to lock in that second one. Strike 6 got the Bulldog, and it's going to go barking in towards that tram area, but unfortunately for him, he gets eliminated on the staircase. Suspector says, that's all from you. I'll see you next time.
I was more going to call Sab a snitch. He brought it right to the PD, like, look what I found over here. This seems like an illegal weapon, officer. I don't know what this is doing here. And to be safe, I'm just going to shoot these bullets out just so it can't hurt nobody.
I'm just going to disregard these rockets. I don't want to see any damage on the map. That's what we're going to see. But on the scoreboard, 6 kills to 5. Those rockets not playing any sort of huge factor early doors. And is it a misplay then?
Yes, a misplay. You got away with the rockets from bottom center. Yes, you ran to some player who had thrust. And thrust, you can argue, can get away from rocket. But you had the jump on that player. You saw them first. You did not land that rocket. That is a misplay.
Double kill for Sabinator. We highlighted him before the game, and that's exactly why. One of the main damage dealers for his team. Puts up the stats in all the right places. Tusk getting laser beamed within an inch of his life and then evaporating the dust. He's out of here. Sabinator with the Bulldog gets a double kill in the feed. Trading back and forth all this time. Still only a 1-kill game. Yeah, just flying around. So we are seeing a bit of a faster paced game. And I'm not really sure who this benefits, because I felt like early on in live fire Strongholds that XSET we're doing better when the game was fast and chaotic. It felt like when things slowed down, that's where G2 was like, all right, we can pinpoint where these players are at, double team them, get the strongholds. So I think when it's been a little bit faster, it has been more XSET favored. XSET trying to keep Officer, things. Once again, I have these rockets. We need to get these off our streets. I want to live in a safe neighborhood here. It's an up-and-coming neighborhood, not with the rocket launcher doing damage just like that. Sabinator puts down suppressed. They're trying to keep things nice and scrappy, when G2 Esports would like to keep it more Scooby. Sabinator, despite having a couple missed rockets, still has 9 of his team's 18 kills. This is just such a performance. I mean, you can't really expect this consistently from a player. However, as we look throughout this game thus far, it's been every single time. Sabinator, top of the leaderboard, top of slays for G2 Esports. I don't know what you have to do to stop this player, because it feels like he's going in spots to give XSET's positions to kill him. He's running to the very bottom side of the map where rockets are, and an icon above the rockets are, saying, I'm right here. But some reason, XSET cannot shut him down. Sabinator, his team relies so heavily on him. Anything that's good flows through him. He's the one that makes the damage and opens up the map for his team. As I say that, 3 dead momentarily here for XSET. Suspector, last man alive. He's going to be spawning his team over towards Tram. Red gun in the hands of Straight Sick for those extended lines of sight. He's got top tower control, and he'll be feeding information to his team all this time. Yeah, we're going to see how XSET decides to push out this Tram. We've been seeing this map kind of divide in a couple ways. You know, there's definitely the fast-paced moments of this game where it's a little chaotic, no one really has full control of anywhere. But then when the game slows down, it's generally like one team has Tram and C controlled, the other team has A. And it's really, I don't really see what the best routes are to really break that. Do you have any insights as to how you would recommend breaking from C side over to A? Well, with it being a 7-kill game, they really need to try and slow things down here. I think it has to be a 4-man push one way or another. It's do or die here for their team. They have to flood something, get on the same page. friends. At least if you're doing something together, you fail, you succeed, it doesn't really matter. But you're doing it together, you're all on the same page. Straight sick bottom tower, though, with the red gun putting down so much damage.
I agree with that fully. It feels like I would much rather do an arguably suboptimal play together than both, people running different strategies on their own. So I agree, finding something together. I never feel like running all in the same spot is the right play. However, you can, this map is so small that you can cross map over from Neons or from B and help from any sort of spot. So you can still be close enough but far enough away.
Walsh talked about how the rockets not been used optimally. Tusk had control of them, 2 rockets in the chamber, and all he'd done was shoot smoke. He didn't get a single kill out of them, and he hit the respawn screen. So again, we're not seeing those rockets used. They're supposed to be a power weapon. They're supposed to open up the map for your team. It's a 4-kill game now, and they're all trapped inside PD. What can Arctic do? Trying to bob and weave. Is he going to be able to get the job done? No, he's not. It's a double kill for Tusk.
That is huge for G2. I think the other thing that's also notable about those rockets is, yes, they've been underutilized from G2. However, they have not been in the hands of XSET.
Yes.
So that is also very noteworthy that, yes, even though G2 maybe get 1 kill per every 2 rockets, we are seeing 0 kills from all 0 rockets that XSET have been acquiring.
They've been able to control the map to get those rockets. As Walsh so desperately says, they need to do a better job. XSET of getting control of the rockets. Unable to do so far. Perhaps that's why we see a 6-kill game, making a 5-kill now. Rocket's going to pop up in another 20 seconds or so. Will we see a flip of the script? Will the pendulum swing back the other way? Now a 4-kill game. Kratos puts one in the grave.
Pace is picking up a little bit, and as we've been saying, XSET have really thrived in some of those scenarios. So we've been seeing them get a couple kills, stagger G2, and G2 just trying to hide out a little bit. And so we're going to have to see if one of these times they get these staggers going on right before rockets, and this is one of the first rockets we might see XSET touch. And no, Suppress taken down. Straight sick from G2, picking up another set of rockets. That's 4 set of rockets going in the hands of XSET. And, maybe they've had 3 kills from those 4 sets of rockets, but who am I to say that?
Bing! Rockets out of the oven, fresh, looking hot. I'll tell you something, straight into the mouth of Suppress. He's taken down, blowing up into the sky. See you later, pal. 41 kills to 35 now, a 6-kill game. Still 1 rocket left in the chamber to play with.
I mean, G2 have to be feeling incredibly comfortable at this time, though. I mean, they have a 4-kill lead, they have rockets, they feel like they can go for trades like that. It's just such a comforting feeling knowing when you have the lead that says, all right, you know what, if I'm in a fight where I'm even slightly ahead, you might be of a BR burst up or so, you can still just go in for that melee trade and realize that it's going to be beneficial for your team.
Now what will we see here from XSET? They realize they haven't got a lot more lives left to play with. It's going to be very detrimental to them if they start throwing the lives away. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see the game slow down just a touch. And it could go all the way down to the next 55 seconds when we do see that next set of rockets and we see Neon in control of Suspector.
And I also just saw some indecisiveness, it felt like, from Suspector. It felt like Suspector was, half toying with the idea of pushing into C, half like, do I push and shoot towards B rails? And I feel like that indecisiveness cannot exist at the end of the game. You have to have a game plan in mind where it's, all right, I'm going to push in towards these C stairs, make a play happen. Not just sit in no man's land, wait till you take a couple shots and then back down.
Hesitancy. Couldn't decide whether to stick or twist. It's a 5-kill game now. Arctic in the respawn screen, as is Gilkey and Sabinator. We're going to see Straight Sick just slow things down with the Bulldog over towards ATMs. He's been spotted out, though. Suspector immediately sees that, backs himself out of there, knows he's not going to get ahead in that gunfight. Calls for a teammate. Kratos, though, in PD, has been eliminated. Now we're in big, big trouble. 1-kill game. Bulldog's going to do the job. G2 Esports take game 2. They're 1 game away from a clean sweep.
They're just looking so strong. It does feel like when the game slows down a bit, it's all G2. They feel like they're more comfortable in those positions. And it's also very telling, too, when we have seen those slowdown periods, and it feels like XSET are in no man's land. Like I said, Suspector, who is arguably the best player in XSET, isn't certain of what to do. Like, all right, can I really support the B rails from here? Do I charge the C and make something happen? And I feel like those indecisive moments is really what's costing XSET during those standoffs.
Looking at the stats then, Sabinator, once again, you spoke about how heavily they rely on him. 16 kills, 10 deaths, 3 assists. Didn't need the assist columns in the end. He's picking up the kills that his damage that his teammates are putting down.
Yeah, as long as you're in those kills or assists or damage, you are doing work for your team. I'm interested to see how much damage was dealt from all these players, and look at that across the board. Sabinator not even the highest on damage. basically Sabanere, Straight Sick, and Tusk, all with around the same amount of damage, which is 4,000.
We're seeing games across the board. We're seeing Suspector with 3,000 damage. When a player with so much experience like Suspector, he's going to be so pivotal for the team, and he's underperformed. You already touched upon his hesitancy. Do you need him to come to the fore? Because when players like him aren't performing, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, your back's against the wall here. Somebody, and you know, ideally your whole team, is stepping up. You need some sort of spark, some sort of X factor. You need to spark that life inside your teammates. So at some point, you need to make plays. Your team has been struggling in those standoffs. Commit to something. Whether that's pushing through and trading to kill and making it a more chaotic situation where XSET, like I said, has been more comfortable, then they can start to fight 3-on-3s, have a little bit more room to maneuver around the map. You need to do something. And it feels like right there, they're just kind of waiting, and it feels like G2, when they dictate the pace of the game during those standoffs, they're walking away with rockets. They're walking away with a kill or two. They're walking away with control.
What we have, something very cool for you folks at home, a top 5 leaderboard to show you with some cool stats to go. Cloud9's Renegade, no surprise, one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. Lucid right behind them, but these are the top stats. Snakebite's been playing out of his skin too. Super impressive, but 2 of Optic's members up in 2 and 3.
I was going to say, the only one that's maybe more surprising there, based on like Raleigh, is maybe Ola, just because we've seen him fill a more supportive role there for Optic. But you know, he's one of the greatest Halo players of all time for a reason, and he's still proving it to this day.
Pistola Lan doesn't mess about. Also good to see Spartan in there as well, rounding out that top 5. But performances must be said, Renegade, how good he can be. But none of those players in our current lobby in that top 5. We expected to see Spectre play a lot better in that last game, and hopefully he'd be pushing his team into the next round. But unfortunately, they find themselves in a pretty precarious position here. Game 1 and 2 going the way of G2 Esports. Bizarre CTF up next.
I was going to say, I would actually argue that you're probably doing something quite wrong, that if you're in the top of the leaderboards for KD and your team's like in the elimination bracket down 0-2, like at some point you're just statting.
Yeah. What value do your kills have if you find yourself down so much? But now our priorities switch back over towards Bizarre. It's going to be here or now. XSET have to get the job done to keep their tournament hopes alive, or they will be eliminated. They will be packing. But fortunately for them, they have already qualified for Kansas City. Game 3, though, about to get underway. It's going to be a tasty one.
Yep, and we're going to be going the distance here. I can't imagine either of these squads capturing all 5 flags against each other here on Bazaar. It's just such a difficult map to secure a cap on. So we're going to see how both these teams start. Who's going to secure these rockets and who's going to secure that OS?
Lovely slide from Straight Sick. Goes straight into a battle of his own. Takes down Arctic with the 5 knuckles. Puts him away. Sabanair's also going to get taken down. Rockets in control of Sabanair.
You guys will never get these rockets as he's just firing them both off again. I have yet to see XSET fire a single rocket in this series.
At this point for the memes, I just want to see them fire at the sky, take something down, kill the chicken bottom middle, at least get some sort of slays. But Suppressed takes down Gilkey. And we're going to see trades go back and forth. These 2 teams still trying to jostle for position.
And look at that maneuverability from Arctic, getting shot in the back from Alley, and still just making it such a difficult kill. So even though 3 members of XSET are down, those precious extra seconds that Arctic is buying the team might be the difference maker to stopping this flag run.
Tusk going for a bit of an unconventional one, trying to push that flag over towards Bar. Unfortunately for him, he gets eliminated. Arctic and Suppressed, though, going to join him whilst watching their teammates. Kratos falls 2. Flag, though, not in a great position if you're going to get a grab onto it, but Gilkey's going to try as he might to get a touch. Flag, there's a player back there, too.
Smart play from Suspector, but somehow sniffed out and not able to get that kill. I was going to assume that Suspector would at least get a trade right there. That's an easy 2-shot sort of melee scenario, but it looks like a couple members from G2 kind of backing each other up.
Kratos down bottom sewers, awaiting for that flag to come, knocking on his door, but unfortunately for him, he was able to get one. He was able to get that trade, and because the Spectre wasn't able to get the trade in the first place, numbers advantage in their favor. Flag already over towards the elbow now, but we've got a player on the return.
I didn't realize that was a player from XSET, and what a touch right there. I guess they were expecting fully, you know, I thought, I guess his press was expecting somebody to come from bomb center, but when you're in that position, you gotta be a turret. You gotta expect someone to drop from BR. You gotta expect someone to come from alley/mangler. I mean, you can't just be fully focused on one angle in that exact position.
Gotta have your head in a swivel. Overshield has just popped up, and it looks as though the members of G2 looking to get their hands on it, but they're looking to camp over towards Bar instead. Oh, it looks as though
look at this slow play. And this has got to be what XSET have been walking into in some of these scenarios where it's slowed down, where XSET's like, all right, well, let's go find and start some action. And some of that action starts with walking into 2 players with that sight line with their BRs.
Sabonair gets taken care of. Double kill then for Suppressed, trying to be the catalyst for change for his teammate. Spark, a flag cap here. Tusk has already got the overextension. And another player behind enemy lines too. Arctic bottom middle gets another touch onto that flag. Also picked up a couple of sizzle sticks along the way. Grenades coming through on those double doors.
Yeah, they're going to have to fight back at their own base here. XSET has 1 member down. They trade 1 for 1 in the scenario, and it's going to be another round of slaying. I mean, when you have 2 players here trying to get this flag recovery, it's just going to be a back and forth. And look at this. Tusk missing that crucial melee. That's going to be Suppressed and Kratos bringing the first flag, and we got ourselves a tie game here, Shurzy.
A bloodbath down on double doors. It's going to be XSET who come out on top. They tie up the game, hoping to get themselves right back into the series, claw their way back, tooth and nail. That has to be done here and now.
The one thing I didn't see what happened there, though, is I believe those rockets were coming up as that flag came back, and I pray to God, I'm not even religious, that one of those members from G2 just grabbed them and wasted them again.
Yep, grabbed them, shot them up into the air. We don't need those rockets. If we can't do anything with them, you're not doing anything either. Overshield, though, 20 seconds or so. Gilkey top middle, trying to back down to Spectre, doing just that, eliminates them from the equation. Tusk set up over towards lockers. This could be an overshield for G2.
Yeah, and this is a powerful position. I want to see Tusk hold this spot and just lay down shots, because you want to make any member of XSET that pushes out towards the OS have to fight multiple angles. They can't just look over towards one side, and that's why that secondary angle is so huge. But it looks like XSET does not care whatsoever. Pushing out, has players over on the truck. Suspector gets taken down, but that overshield's just been a little hot potato. Nobody can get it.
The overshield seems to be a bit cursed. Finally, we have a player pop it into their chest. Tusk looking to be the counter to the overshield. Plasma pistol in his hand. Sets his sight on that player. Gets the kill. Grapples towards him. Sends him out of here.
That is frustrating. That's one thing we've also seen a huge change from Raleigh until now, is anytime these players get the overshield and Bazaar, players are consistently countering that overshield and having that plasma pistol ready. Not every time are they successful, but they are at least attempting to use that plasma pistol against the overshield.
Still all tied up then. XSET playing for their tournament life. Suppressed having a really good game here, it must be said. 12 kills, 4 assists, and just the 5 deaths. Really needs his team to step up here. Sabonair's getting the kills along with Tusk that he needs too. Kratos in the respawn screen, but Arctic behind enemy lines pulls a flag of his own.
Yep, we're gonna have to see who gets the slays. This all comes down to slays, and I couldn't imagine why we didn't see G2 just continue to run that. It felt like they opted just to stay together and fight, and that looks like it's gonna result in a flag recovery for XSET, but flag also in a precarious position out here in front of the pillars. That's gonna be Sabonair diving in, trying to get the recovery. Not gonna happen.
Misplay then. Flag still kept alive. Over towards double doors. Suppressed, happy just to play cover fire here. Not trying to get down and dirty and get that flag touch. Not putting his life on the line there. Kratos gets the touch that they so desperately deserve.
Yeah, but this is such a difficult spot for G2 because they had their opportunity to try to get that reset before, and now they have to try and make their way over towards the BR, towards the palms, and it's going to be so difficult to coordinate a second attack, especially when XSET are going to be spawning closer to it and having reinforcements faster.
Reinforcements desperately need here. They need the cavalry on their last legs. Kratos trying to extend outside lockers. Gilkey getting back down in Palm Tree. Suppressed has that overshield. This could be the catalyst now to turn this series on its head. This could be the lifeline that they so desperately need.
And there's another wasted rocket from Sabonair. I guess you can't call it wasted because it took out that overshield. But before that, I was just going to say, Suppressed really stepping up here for XSET. We kept talking about Suspector maybe being that player that we see a first rocket. Sorry,
hold on.
Holding that thought, yes. We have a rocket. We might see the first rocket fired here from XSET during the series. I do not want to miss it. We're going to see
thank God.
100% rocket efficiency from XSET so far this series. You love to see it.
There we go then. Kratos finally puts the rockets to good use. Gets 2 for 2. Bang for his buck. And now he's got control of the enemy base, trying to desperately stay alive here, though. And unfortunately, Arctic's going to be the first man to fall in that engagement, and that just so heavily skews the advantage over towards G2.
And I was going to say, before we caught that rare moment on camera, I was covering how Suppressed was doing such a fantastic job, really stepping up for his roster. We kept highlighting Suspector, saying Suspector, 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 doing such a good job, stepping up for his team and having, you know, the most kills and such. But Suppressed really coming out here and impressing us here and stepping up when his team needs him most. It's such a difficult position when your team's down 0-2. Morale can get down, your team play could be just a little bit off. But for someone just to really step it up and help lead a squad and give them a fighting chance here, that's what you want, especially from one of these newest members here on XSET.
25 seconds or so then until the next overshield. You got to think that has to be the goodies on the table to secure a flag cap. Straight sick though, not paying any attention to that overshield, not looking to get involved with that scrap. Arctic and Kratos in the respawn screen. This should mean an overshield map control for G2.
Yes, should mean. But also I feel like it may have been a misplay there from Straight Sick and Squad as they maybe overextended. I feel like you either want to set up and grab the OS together and make a push together, or you want to go in for that flag together. But instead it felt like one or two members of G2's pushing towards the flag. A couple members just camped out in the center. I feel like that's got to be, like I said, just a misalignment amongst those players.
We've seen 2 overshields in this game alone be completely obliterated by a plasma pistol shot. They've jumped up towards lockers, almost identical plays, and being evaporated just like that. But one thing XSET need this next cap far more than G2. They can keep it scrappy. They can keep XSET nervous, because they're the ones staring down the barrel of elimination. Kratos gets a kill. That's going to be 3 dead momentarily. This could be the start of a push.
Yeah, and we are seeing, once again, XSET taking over these palms and BR. Looks like he has to back down for just a moment, but it's been more uncommon to see XSET over on the G2 side of the map. So we're going to have to see what they can do now that they're making one of these pushes.
Gilkey getting shots fired into his spine, unable to turn around, hoping that the shots would just disappear, although some help would come in handy for him. It didn't come to fruition. Rockets, though, now in the hands of Suspector. There has been a flag pulled and on the move, though. It has to be for XSET, has to be now. Suspector lands one.
100% efficacy from these Rockets, once again from the XSET side. And Gilkey somehow getting a spike grenade over there in the BR to put a stop to those Rockets. I was going to say, I would expect this to turn into a cap or some form of control, because we have rarely seen those Rockets in their hands.
Efficiency is the name of the game. That is how you see success. That is not what we've seen from either one of these teams when they've gotten their hands on the goodies. Unable to turn them into significant scores on the board. 1-1, we still all tied up after 10 minutes or so of gameplay now. Gonna see another overshield. Please, please do not get hit by a plasma pistol. That's all I'm asking for here. And still a rocket launcher to play with as well, as though he's got one in the chamber still. Gonna grapple this overshield over towards him, into the chest. Here we go.
And this is gonna be the man to watch right now. Tusk has this next cap potentially in his hands. Look at him leading all the way through his palms. He still has his sizzle sticks too. So if he decides to try to clear out Alley, he knows Alley's clear now since he just threw the sizzle stick out, but I would have expected him to kind of help a little bit more in that flag escort, but it looks like his teammate has it just fine. So now it's just going to be playing the delay game as this is sprinting across the bottom side of the map and almost gets the ninja.
Desperately trying to cover ground. We're seeing 3 dead now for G2 Esports. They need to get a touch on this flag. Only a minute or so left in the clock. Arctic's going to be trying to get that return, and does. He secures it for his team.
That's such a huge recut from XSET, and I didn't see how that was going to go wrong for them. You know, we saw so much in the hands of Tusk. He had that rocket. He had the I don't even know the real name now, the dynamo grenades. after you've implanted sizzle sticks in my brain.
I planted the seed.
It just felt like there was nothing that could really go wrong, and it felt like somehow XSET, we saw this before against Fnatic as well when they're playing Bizarre Flag against them, that Fnatic would get the flag so far across the map, and XSET just scraps it together, somehow gets that kill, gets that stop, gets control back.
G2 huffing and puffing, unable to blow the house down. Palm Tree is going to be the first line of defense here for XSET. Backs to the walls now, on the ropes. 30 seconds or so until we do see an overtime, and then we'll go to next cap wins. Sabinator with that Mangler decides he doesn't need to go for it now. Maybe he's going to play it a bit more patient.
Yeah, gonna wait to see if any of these members overextend. It looks like a couple members of XSET do overextend. Tusk getting 1 kill. Kratos getting another. That's gonna be 2 down, but can anyone get the flagpole within 8 seconds? And do they want to? It's always such a gamble or risk to grab this last second pull here on Bizarre. Reason being is if you pull that flag, you're leaving your teammates 1 member down the center of the map And as that time ticks down to 0, both Overshield and Rockets are coming up.
Don't have to contend with that now. They decided to play again in overtime. Clean slate for both teams. Going to see rocket launchers and Overshield pop up right here, right now. Map completely reset. Honors even between these two. Neither really able to dictate the pace of the game. It's been back and forth all game long here. Nobody able to control the power up just yet. Gilky's going to be the first man to try and scramble for it. Gets his hands on it. Here we go.
Gilky has not only OS, he also has the thrust, which obviously is important during NABR fights, but when you're pushing towards this palm, where you might encounter a plasma pistol, it's going to be a slightly bit more important. And the fact that he sees that plasma pistol up is you know, pretty comforting. Realize he's not going to get hit by that. One thing I just now realized, Jersey, is why aren't these players more often doing at least a quick scan to see if that weapon's been picked up through the wall?
Very hard to clear their corners. Have to check 2 points of entry when they enter. Straight sick, those got the flag over the halfway point. They have map control again. We've seen this before, though. XSET managed to scramble and get the reset. Flag down, bottom middle, right beside the grapple hook. Sabinator's got a little tingle in his eye.
I like this play, though. G2 are taking their time. Tusk acquires the kill against Arctic. Sabinator now grabs this through after waiting out all those grenades. This is going up the stairs. If G2 caps this, this is going to be XSET's tournament, and that is going to be G2 walking away with the victory here on Bazaar Flag, sending home XSET in a 3-0 fashion.
The cleanest of sweeps. The janitor has arrived. Cleans house. G2 Esports are your victors. XSET completely eliminated from the tournament. That's all she wrote for them. Unbelievable performance out of G2 to do it just like that, Dave.
Yes, and still also unbelievable performance out of XSET so far this event.
Yes.
I feel like Kratos does welcome a lot of, you know, hate or criticism throughout a situation like that, but they proved themselves. They took out some top squads. They took 7/8 this event, which is a really jam-packed event full of talent. If I might say so, also on the casting desk ourselves.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Go
Dissecting the stats here, Gilky, 25 kills, 16 deaths, 9 assists. Really impressive, and he was instrumental in that last flag cap.
Absolutely, and I like how they corrected their last mistake. It felt like the answer almost to anything that was going right for XSET was slow it down.
Yes.
You know, when it came to a Slayer and things were getting a little too chaotic, slow it down. When it came to running a flag back, even though it felt like you had more control across the map, slow it down. And it felt like when they slowed it down, G2 walked ahead.
They got that flag out, and like you said, it's like they learned from their mistakes. They got it all the way towards double doors. They got slayed out, and they realized, okay, next time when we get in that position, we'll drop the flag bottom middle and we'll slay, because you can see XSET were crying in desperation to try and stop that flag, though. Confirmation, 250-91 Strongholds live fire. Street Slayer, 50-44. Bazaar CTF, although it went to overtime, 2-1 the score to G2. They round us out for that clean sweep. Very impressive performance. We will be seeing them tomorrow. Also, what we'll be seeing tomorrow, there's not going to be a traditional cast, Dave. What we're going to have is a few special guests. We're going to have a bit of a watch along. We're going to have we're going to have Blaze, we're going to have Lady Echidna, and some special guests too to watch along. So, not going to be the traditional cast. Not going to see the likes of me and Dave Walsh casting, but we're going to see a little bit more of a chill vibe.
That's pretty awesome. I love to see how we're experimenting with this and, you know, really defining how these Halo broadcasts are presented to the audience. So I'm glad you all watched this today. We had such a blast. This is my first time casting with Jersey. I don't know if you remember, the first time I actually met you, you lied to me.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, we were playing Among Us, so I guess it's allowed.
No, it did, yeah. That's the names of the game. Strong Side had a real problem with Among Us. I'll tell you something. He was texting me at all hours of the morning trying to get a game going.
He's like, games? Like,
no,
I don't want to listen to your lies at 2 in the morning, Strong Side. Leave me alone.
He got addicted. But there we have it. Confirmation of the bracket. Cloud9 awaiting their next opponents in the winners finals. Is it going to be Optic or Sentinels? That game is still going over on the A stream, so tune in if you're looking for a tasty one. Lower bracket though, E United beating out FaZe, G2 like we've just seen beating out XSET, and like on a collision course to meet one another perhaps in the semi-finals, awaiting results elsewhere. But what a performance we've seen out of most of these teams today, and I can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, can't wait. I think G2 played well. I mean, it did look scary from moment to moment. They didn't clean it as much as I would like to see for them to come out into Sunday dominating. But end of the day, you just need to make it to Sunday. Yeah. So for them to just close this chapter and be like, all right, we closed out Saturday. We get to take a little bit of a breather and come out hot Sunday, refigure out what our plans are on different snags they hit. So I feel like G2, they accomplished the goal. They got across the finish line. It's like some of the times you see some of those marathon runs, they get across the finish line like, ooh, you don't look so good right now. Could have been a little better, but it's like they got across the finish line and they get to make it to the next race.
they qualify then for Sunday. That's what the goal is. Make it the championship Sunday. They've done just that. We cannot wait to sink our teeth into tomorrow's action. That's all from us though for today. Be sure to check out A-Stream for a whopping series going on right now. That's all for us. Take care of yourselves.
HCS Anaheim is presented by AMD, Astro Gaming, the Marines, Zowie, and Xbox Plays.